about the airplane crash of the China Eastern Airlines MU5757. I'd like to give you a brief introduction toward the distinguished guests who are attending the press today. Mr. Zhuang from the Civil Aviation Administration of China, the chief of the firefighting team in Guangxi Zhuang Autonomous Region. Mayor of Wuzhou City, Zhuang, the team of the Forensic Center and the Ministry of Public Security, Liu Kaihui, the Dean and Director of the Earth Science and the Guilin Science and Technology University. We'd like to give the floor to Dean Liu to give us the latest updates about the work. Yesterday, we make a huge breakthrough by finding the second black box. Today, the rescue work continues. Currently, we have finished the digging of the central site of the event, and we have also collected all the pieces of the remnants of the victims. At the core sites of the victims, we have facilitated and equipped an emergency rescuing facilities to map out the potential ceramic and earthquake risk in these areas. And we came up a working plan for the large-scale evacuators to work in the core site. We have also cleaned up all the routes connecting the core sites to the external main routes. By the end of 3 p.m. today, we have searched a total area for 37 square kilometers. We found the remnant pieces for 36,000 pieces. For the external areas, apart from the grid-based manual searching work, we have also allocated 5 different drone-based searching areas, covering a total area of 960 square meters. We have also carried on the maintenance work and also the follow-up work in the China Eastern Airlines. Currently, we are collecting the evidence, remnants, recordings, videos, and we are also recording the wordings of the witnesses. The follow-up working team is providing all kinds of the mental support and psychological support for the family members of the victims. Currently, we have received the total visit of 623 visits of the family members, and all these family members has mourned on the sites for the victims. For their 168 requests from the victims' family members, we have formed a special workforce team to proceed the settlement of these claims. Currently, we have finished the DNA comparing work for 126 victims, and we are trying to gather up all the remnants of the victims, and in the future, we are going to transfer it to the family members. Moving into the next stage, we are going to focus on the areas including the environmental safety and security. We are going to search for the 3 key areas. And we are also going to step up our effort for the COVID-19 prevention, control, and sterilizations on the site. Currently, for all the rescuers and recoverers working at the sites, we have conducted 399 sterilization. And at the core areas, we have also set up 4 key sterilization sites. The external area has accumulated for 5.3 square kilometers sterilization area. Now we'd like to give the floor to the head of the firefighter team, Mr. Zhuang, to give us the latest update on the rescue work on the sites. Today is the 8th day of the accident. The major target for us is to find the remnant and the remnant pieces of the victim and also the airplane. Today, we have driven the forklift to dig deeper into the earth layers, and we are also trying to figure out all the combustible gases, including the jet oils on the airplanes. We started a security plan starting from yesterday, and starting from the peripheral area, we have laid two key water supplies in the peripheral areas, and we have also prepared other different equipments in case any explosive materials brings damage to the working sites. We have kept monitoring the concentrations of these noxious gas. For the past 7 days, we have organized 900 professionals, firefighters, the thematic professionals to work at the site. We have also used the small-scale equipments, the forklift, the hangers for over 30 different units. And for each one of them, they have recovered for 900 pieces of the remnant. For the total areas of 900 square kilometers, we have discussed and discovered 1,700 pieces, and today we have also thrown another 900 rescuers and recoverers working at the site. We have also dispatched 2 long-armed equipment with 3 short-armed equipments. We continued our unearthing and unfolding of this area according to the directions of the Civil Aviation Administration of China. Since the air crash, we have gathered support from all walks of life. We have also got the blessing of the netizens on the site. On behalf of all the rescuers, I'd like to show our gratifications for all the people who give us your support. Thank you. Now we are going to give the floor to Mayor Zhuang to give us a brief introduction toward the follow-up effort. This follow-up effort is going to be people-centered. We are also going to focus on the family members of the victims of the air crash. Currently, we have arranged 1,200 people from the Wuzhou city to work on the follow-up effort of the air crash. We have provided all kinds of the services to the family members. We have rearranged 24 different hotels to accommodate the family members of the victims. We have also coordinated other different emergency materials, including the medical materials, firefighting materials, and we are also working and dispatched 68 power generator equipments to working nearby the sites. This is going to make sure that all the powers and telecommunications works well near the core sites. I'm going to give you a brief introduction toward our effort in the past few days. The first one is that given the service areas, we have built up a 3+2 mechanism in our city. We have formed a special workforce by combining 3 of the governmental workers in the Wuzhou city together with 2 workers working in the China Eastern Airlines to give all the comforting and supporting to the family members. After the air crash, for any family members who's coming to Wuzhou city, we dispatched for 1,800 professional psychologists to provide the psychological support for the family members. And for each one of the families, they are enjoying their own psychologist to smooth their worries. And we have built up a book, a list, and we are trying our best to satisfy the rational demand from the family members. Thirdly, we are going to intensify our caring for the family members. For the family members' request to go to the core site for their own mourning purposes, we have came up with a guaranteeing plans and emergency plans. We have also provided the fresh flowers for the family members to come to the site in comfort. Currently, we have arranged 163 times of the family members to visit the core sites, and some of the family members goes to the hospitals and other mourning sites to hold a moment of silence for their family members. We have also organized the DNA testing and screening for the family members and victims' pieces according to the arrangement of the Civil Aviation Administration of China. We conducted 1 day 1 PCR testing, and currently all the PCR testing remains negative. Moving into the next steps, we are going to provide better services to the family members. Now we are going to give the floor to Professor Lu Lijun to give us the effort of the recovery on the sites. After the 321 air crash of China Eastern Airlines, the Ministry of Natural Resources and the Ministry of Public Security, as well as Ministry of Civil Affairs, has formed a special workforce of 15 members to work on the sites from the 3 aspects. That is the technical supporting teams. I am part of these technical supporting teams. The first one is that we have trying to depict the local terrain conditions and hydropower conditions. We are using the drones to conduct some of the on-site camera shootings for the sites, and we have compared the remote imagings on the sites and far away from the sites. And we are working on the explorations of the core areas, providing the basic configurations for the core areas. Secondly, we are working on the unearthings and underground recovery of the core areas. We are trying to figure out what is the impact when the air crash occurred on the surface of the earth. Thus, came up with a very quick plan to screen the key part of the core area. On the 23rd of March, we have organized the equipment to enter into the core areas, and we are also using the radars to figure out the total depth of the airplane crash and also the distributions of the airplane's remnants. We have finished the data settlement on the 24th of March, and we have got a clear picture toward the scatter up of the remnant underground. This is providing the map for the rescue and recovery work. Thirdly, we are working to prevent a secondary disaster to occur. When the sites for the air crash is a site with loosened earth, after the impact of the air crash, the stability of the slopes is dwindling. With the effect of the heavy rain, there might be some landslides and mudslides. We have equipped professional testing equipment on the slopes. This is going to give us a dynamic monitoring of the potential disaster. And this is also going to help us to protect the security and safety of the rescuers. Moving into the next steps, we are also going to work on the neighboring mountainous regions, providing the security information for the rescuing team. Now the floor is open up for questions. Please identify your affiliated institution before the question. With Xinhua News Agency, you have mentioned that all the DNAs of the victims on the airplane has been identified. Can you give us more information about that part? Thank you. On the 21st of March, after the airplane crashed, we have came up with a special emergency identification DNA identification workforce from the Ministry of Public Security. We have organized a special workforce of 224 policemen to connect the DNA samples of the victims. And for this time, the Forensic Center of the Ministry of Public Security has dispatched a professional team of 30 victims to reach on the sites to start the on-site screenings. In the DNA laboratory of Wuzhou City, 6 of the experts from our center is working together with 12 different centers from the Guangxi Zhuang autonomous region. And this morning, at around 9 a.m., we have finished the personal identifications of the last victims on the airplane. So far, we have finished the identifications on the airplanes of the 132 victims. For these times, we have adopted a multiple range of methods. Our center has also dispatched 2 experts in the fingerprint. They are also working together with the 2 fingerprint experts in the Guangxi autonomous region to compare the fingerprints of the victims. With China Daily. So how do you arrange the remnant of the victims? Currently, the Wuzhou City's government is responsible for keeping all the remnant of the victims in the airplane crash. The rescue works continues. The identifications and the categorizing of the victims is still continues. For the remnant of the victims, we are going to, based on the principles of the maintaining dignities of the victims, we are going to organizing the DNA sequencing and DNA coding work after we finish the follow-up effort. By respecting the family members, we are going to transfer this work to the family members according to their request and with respect to the laws and procedures. From Guangxi Zhuang Autonomous Region's television. So how do we prevent a secondary disaster in the core site of the airplane crash? First, we are going to do a very good evaluation of the work. The core site of the airplane crash is covered with a dense layer of the plantations. And there are so many different bumping areas for the rescuing sites. That is indicating when there were heavy rains, there's a possibility for the landslide. That's the reason why we need to go into details and evaluate the potential area. Second, we should also design a professional rescuing plans according to the terrain and the geographical distributions and earth layer distributions of the core sites. We are going to come up with a plan to dig these areas, and if necessary, we are going to set up the tanks. And for the earth that we have digged from this area, it needs to be stored in a nearby site. Thirdly, we are going to arrange it according to the scientific guidelines for the nearby mountainous regions and also the rescuing sites. We are going to setting up the warning lines and also the warning signals to remind the rescuers of any potential security problems. If any abnormalities occurred, we are going to inform the rescuers to avoid the appearance of these sites. Fourthly, we are also going to educate the rescuers that they should be away from the clashing sites. Thank you. with Phoenix televisions. Are you going to release relevant information about the decodings of the two black box? We have deeply understand the public's high concern about the decoding effort of the two black books, and we also understand that everyone is eager to figure out the reasons where the information can be provided by the two black boxes. Currently, the decoding effort is working, but for the rescue and research of such a high-level air crash, the decoding of a black box cannot be the solution to all. At the same time, we are trying to collect as much as the remnant as possible, as well as the videos taken for this airplane crash. We have sorted all the remnant as well as the videos, and we are trying to record the witness record. And we are also analyzing what happened to the airplanes. Once there are major breakthroughs in our investigation effort, we are going to hold a presser. That concludes today's press briefing. Thank you.